Today's episode contains some themes that some listeners may find upsetting, including teen suicide and sexual assault, and for that reason, audience discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week, we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
What on earth was that ending? It was like
I like to mix it up.
Have I replaced you with a robot?
No, I just like to mix it up.
Oh, is that what you're doing this year, mixing it up?
I'm going to keep you on your toes.
Fantastic. Do you know what you should do?
What?
You should say it like a famous Broadway or West End diva, each week, and I have to guess who you're being.
Oh, challenge possibly accepted.
Could you do that? That would be hilarious. And why don't you try it? Our executive producer's just broken his chair.
Oh dear.
And you think things have improved since last year? Not a bit of it. It's the same old. What I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by somebody falling off his chair. I wish he had fallen flat on the ground. I'd have been wet myself. We'd have had to stop the recording. And he's now playing his phone and the music's coming through. Yeah.
You're fired!
Bye. 2 episodes. He did well, didn't he? Anyway, what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted was you give it a go for 6 weeks and then I could do it.
Okay.
I think it's a terrible... Why did we not have this conversation in a meeting about Series 3?
Yeah.
That's genius.
Is it?
See, all our genius comes live on air.
Oh, no. Well, we'll see.
You're not so sure, are you?
We'll see how next week goes.
I was inspired by your intro.
All right, okay.
Well, anyway, welcome back. How are you?
Good.
Good
How are
stuff.
you?
I'm not... How are you? In case any of our listeners don't know, we're from Northern Ireland. With that, you. I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm excited with what's happening in the world of musical theatre.
Oh, Timothy, please tell us what your theatre news is this week.
Okay, I've got 2 really, really, really exciting ones.
Oh.
Well, first one is that a musical adaptation of Nanning McPhee, I know, is heading to the West End in 2026.
Oh, that's next year.
Yeah. And Emma Thompson, the star of the film version, is steering the new production.
Oh, well, it'll be brilliant.
I think so too.
It will be brilliant.
Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting.
I think so too. We also
Very
have...
clever.
This isn't my second exciting one.
Oh.
But
Okay.
I feel I need to mention it because we are fans on the pod of Idina Menzel.
Yes.
She's making her Broadway return. A decade-long hiatus from Broadway is ending this year with the highly anticipated new musical Redwood opening this week. No, hold on. At time of recording, it opened last week.
Oh, there we go.
The 24th of January is when it's opening. Redwood tells the story of Jessie Menzel, a seemingly successful woman whose life takes an unexpected turn, leading her to seek solace in the Northern California's majestic redwoods.
Interesting.
Sounds a bit boring
I
for a
was just
musical,
gonna
to be
say-
quite honest with you, Laura.
Ooh.
Hence not the exciting
yes.
theatre news, but
Okay.
I thought, oh, she's coming back.
That's nice that
It
she's
must
back.
have been our wicked movie kind of gave her the bug again.
Yeah.
I mean, she never went away. She just didn't do a Broadway musical for
No.
10 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, more excitingly, and I want to finish on this week because I know you love it.
Oh, what is it?
Alex Brightman and Sarah Chase will star in the world premiere of Schmigadoon.
I'm so excited.
The musical version of the Apple TV Plus series opens in Washington this month.
I think it'll be great.
Booked?
No, I haven't, but I think it will be great.
I need to watch it first before I go to Washington to see it. I haven't watched it
I
yet.
know. You need to watch it. You've seen the first episode.
I don't have Apple TV.
I know. We don't have Apple TV either. Maybe if Apple TV want to sponsor us, then we could watch it.
Hilarious. How many times do we need to mention it before they do?
Here, do you know what I wanted to talk to you about? How exciting is Death Becomes Her on Broadway?
I know.
So it had lots of trials in Chicago, and now it is officially on Broadway, and you don't have TikTok, but the sound is all over TikTok.
So I think I maybe need to join TikTok this year.
I think we should try doing the sound.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yes, and they have I love how new musicals are now doing this. They don't drop the cast recording; they drop one or two tracks just to hook you. And I'm hooked. But I think they've only dropped three of the musical numbers. They are absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to hear the rest of the cast recording.
And they are great. And also, one final thing, social media has made its return on the Find Me.
That's right.
For wonderful Dolly Parton.
Oh, I thought it was Bert. I thought this was the final year that I would get my chance at being Bert and Mary Poppins.
No, Dolly Parton is looking for somebody to play Dolly on Broadway. So you can actually, I think you missed it. I think deadline was today.
Oh, that's annoying.
So I'm sorry, Timothy, you're not going to get the chance to play Dolly on Broadway.
You see, you could have done the intro as Dolly Parton. I'd have guessed it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think, are they trying to do that kind of, maybe it's not through TikTok, but it's certainly through an open call. They're looking for the next Marty McFly.
They are.
As an open auditioning process. Aaron?
Yes,
Clumsy
EP.
as you might be, maybe you should give that a go.
I'm just not ready for that type of rejection.
Fair enough. And also you'd need to fix that arm first of the armchair.
Yeah, I know.
It's exciting, though, isn't it?
It is exciting.
For a wee Marty McFly, I'm a bit too young for
do you know
that
what
role,
I
think, at the
also
moment.
I have I hope that you have seen it. I've shared it on our socials. It just is a little throwback to last week's episode on West Side Story. I forgot to mention it on our West Side Story. Have you ever watched Cher do a one-man version of West Side Story?
What?
It's on the socials, so if you haven't watched it yet, watch it.
Oh.
It's hilarious.
Okay, I will go and watch it and learn it and then perform it.
Yeah. I actually, do you know what? Episode. I want to record you looking at it for the first time, so I might make that a wee video.
Perfect.
Anyway, that's me done.
On to this week then.
A
bit of a modern one after last week's epic West Side Story back in the day. Mm-hmm. We're kind of bringing it up to date.
We are.
2019, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this week we are looking at, it is a popular title. It's not one that I would say I'm a fan of.
Oh,
overly. No,
really?
No, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to rush back.
Okay.
It's Heathers, the musical.
It is Heathers,
the musical. And that makes me a boring old fart. Because all of these young folk love Heathers.
Yeah, Heathers is definitely has the oomph behind it because of fans. It is one of these ones that is being driven by the fans. Social media has definitely helped Heathers.
Okay, and am I right in saying they're the corn nuts?
Yes, they are the corn nuts.
So they are the corn nuts. Yeah. Okay, so Heathers the musical is based on the cult 1989 hit that starred Winona Ryder and Christian Slater, written by Daniel Waters.
Right.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So, welcome to Westerberg High, where popularity is a matter of life and death, and Veronica Sawyer is just another nobody dreaming of a better day. But when she's unexpectedly taken under the wing of three beautiful students and possibly cruel Heathers, her dreams of popularity finally start to come true.
Yeah.
That's until JD turns up. The mysterious teen rebel seduces her and teaches her that it might kill to be a nobody, but it is murder being a somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's dark themes in this.
There is dark themes, yeah. So
it is, like you said.
We will tread gently today.
Yeah, there are... Yeah, there is a huge following for the 1989 film. That was actually Winona Ryder and Christian Slater's very first movie.
Really?
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like what catapulted them into stardom. A big following in the 80s.
Full disclosure, I haven't seen the film.
I think I have, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Got you.
I do remember whenever Mean Girls came out, I was like, or maybe I was told it's just Heathers. So there's similarities in Mean Girls and Heathers.
Right. Can I
But they're
just
not the
check
same. Yeah.
on a really small tangent,
Uh-huh.
just while the burning question's in my head? So the front cover of the original cast recording has like, is it croquet mallets or
yes.
something?
Uh-huh.
But I can't for the life of me remember in the version I saw on stage, which was a UK tour, at no point did a croquet mallet come out. So is that a film reference then?
No, they play croquet just before Candy Store.
Okay, there you go. That's how closely I was watching it. And continue.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do because they've got them.
I just don't recall that moment.
Okay, I could have made it
I
up.
was asleep.
Oh.
I was asleep very quickly.
Oh, okay. So the musical's written by Lawrence O'Keefe, who wrote Legally, Blonde, and Bat Boy.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Or some call him Larry.
Oh,
Okay.
Larry. Okay. And Kevin Murphy. It started back as a workshop in 2009 with Kirsten Bell. Christian Bell. She was Veronica. Then in 2010, it became a New York concert. And I loved this fact. It starred Jenna Lee Green. She played Libby in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch series. And if anybody watched that, she was like the mean girl. So I love that she's one of the Heathers.
Okay.
Christian Lakin, who is from Step by Step, and then James Snyder. So if you are familiar with the likes of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Step by Step, Boy Meets World, and all of those shows from the 90s, all those names are famous. So I love all those.
Oh my goodness. Like, well done you
I
for
know.
keeping up.
Keeping up.
Yeah, because I just feel like a grand is sitting here because every single person you've just mentioned or every single show you've just mentioned, I have never heard of any of them.
But you never really watched a lot of TV whenever we were younger. Well,
that's
I
true. Fair.
did and still do. So
Yeah.
anyway, they were part of the 2010 New York concert. It then went off Broadway in 2014. And then 2017, there was the UK workshop where the additional song I Say No is added and some edits to the second act were made.
Yeah, and that initial workshop was held at the Other Palace, and it was just 5 sold out presentations. Like it,
know.
it wasn't an awful lot.
No, and then not
Whet
that
the
long.
appetite.
Not that long after, we have it opened in 2018 in the Other Palace, starring Carrie Hope Fletcher, who's wonderful, and the wonderful Jamie Moscato.
Yes.
Now, it was such a huge hit, as you said, from only having very few previews to then being opened. It actually broke the website for the Other Palace's website the day it went on sale.
There you
People
go.
were, I need to go see this. I need to see
corn
this.
nuts.
Those corn nuts.
They are quite a wild bunch
Yes.
for musical theatre fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like they're a different level of cult musical theatre fan than say some of the like the Rent heads or like
100%. It's the fans which are keeping Heathers alive.
Okay.
100%.
Yes,
It did win a
the
What's on
artistic.
Stage award. We don't always mention them, but they are big awards in theatre world. So, won a What's on Stage award for Best New Musical, and Carrie Hope Fletcher did win for Best Actress.
Yeah.
It returned then in 2021. Which was post-pandemic. So a lot of the songs would be used on social media, on TikTok. And it has since then had several extensions.
Yeah.
Several. It has been on tour. It has been in the Other Palace, out of the Other Palace, back in.
It seems to have jumped between, because when it returned to the West End, it returned to both Theatre Royal Haymarket again after having been there previously, and then as you say, at the Other Palace, a record-breaking season at the Other Palace. We should say that the production, right from the sold-out Los Angeles tryouts, right up to off-Broadway, West End. The director was the American filmmaker Andy Frickman.
Yes.
I don't think we've mentioned him
No,
yet.
sorry. No, we
And
did not.
it is quite interesting that it has been the same director that's come with it
Yeah.
in all.
And that is as kind of unique as well.
productions.
That it, but that maybe gives it that authenticity.
Yeah,
so that they're
absolutely.
seeing the same thing across the
Yeah.
water.
And I think the corn nuts are looking to see that version.
Yes.
The version.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The productions also toured across the UK and Ireland in 2021, 2023 and 2024. And on the 1st of September 2024, producers Bill Kenwright Limited and Paul Taylor Mills, who I think are also pivotal for keeping this juggernaut going,
Yeah.
they announced that the production would return to New York City this year.
Yeah.
However, no more details have since come out about when, where, how.
No, there has been a rumour this week that it's potentially September 25
Oh,
because the famous line in Heathers at the very beginning is Dear Diary, 1st of September 1989.
Yeah,
So
got you. That would be very cool if they
It
could
would.
line it up for that.
It would. But yeah, there was also the pro shot. They filmed it in 2022.
Yeah.
There's also a big connection between those that have appeared in Heathers and then move on to Six.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's just a little like underground tunnel
Yeah.
from the Heathers Arena into
Yeah.
Six. Very good.
Yeah.
Listen, this high energy black comedy has been a massive hit with show fans, despite its dark subject matters, including bullying, teen suicide, sexual assault, and school violence.
Yeah.
So we will tread gently,
Yeah.
but just be aware that particularly when we get to our musical lyrical lingos, some of those subject matters may
Yeah.
come up.
Yeah.
The London production did receive mixed reviews and reception
Mm-hmm.
from the critics, and some flagged that some of those complex issues, such as homosexuality, bulimia,
Mm-hmm.
and suicide, were kind of made light of for comic effect,
Yeah.
making parts of the show feel dated and uncomfortable for a 2018 audience.
Yes.
And I think that is really a fair comment.
Okay.
Because I also think that's part of the reason I struggled with it
Okay.
a little bit. Because
Fair.
I went, none of this is nice.
Yeah.
What, like, and don't get me wrong, musicals are there to question the
Mm-hmm.
audience and to make the audience think, and at times to make the audience feel uncomfortable, but done in an artistic way where it's powerful and impactful. I'm not so sure I get that from a Heathers.
Okay. That's a fair point to make.
Thank you. Just my opinion, as always, on this podcast.
I do think that Heathers has captured the 80s feel to it.
Okay.
So I do, whenever I listen to it or whenever I've watched it, I do get that this is how people were talking back in the 80s. And these subjects were spoke about this way. And I can see that it's almost like in this little time capsule.
Okay.
So
Fair comment.
I don't see it as me sitting in 2025 watching it. I can be like, okay, this is an 80s musical or 80s themes, and this is how they talked.
Fair enough.
And aren't we so glad that we don't have these conversations like that now?
Yeah, of course.
I kind of see it that way, but
Yeah,
that's just me.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, we said it's very risky. I loved that you said you think that the Bill Kenwright Limited are a reason why there is a lot of love and pushing of this musical, because for me, it has this similar feel to Joseph,
Yeah, fair.
where Joseph is around and Joseph is never going anywhere. And Joseph seems to just constantly be on a tour and popping up here, there and everywhere.
Yeah.
And that, I do think, is what the Bill Kenwright Company does very well. It
Yeah.
gets its claws into something and it can market it and sort of you're going to like it type thing. It's constantly presented to you.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, yes, I'll go watch it. I'll do that.
Absolutely.
A lot of Heather's as well is iconic because of the colours. You've got the Veronica in blue. You've got your yellow, your red, and your green of the Heathers.
Like a paint palette in that.
It is. You've got your JD all in black. You've got there's visually it can be done in a small theatre.
Yeah.
And then the costumes can kind of take over.
But I thought the set looked like it was made out of cardboard cutouts.
Okay. Oh, right. We really don't have a lot of love for
no,
this.
But I'm just being. I just can't. I went and I was underwhelmed.
Okay.
I think it needed a little bit more musical theatre pizzazz. Do you know what I mean? Because it's in your face. Like, do you know what I mean? So I just felt it was rough and ready round the edges. However, I do feel there's an element of that's what they're wanting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it just wasn't. It just wasn't for me. Shall we move on to what we've learned? Though?
Yeah. Okay. What about our musical lyrical lingos?
Yeah.
So the very first song, as I've said, it opens with Dear Diary, and that song is called Beautiful.
Yeah.
We have the word discernible.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means something is understandable and easy to perceive.
Yeah.
And then this is when Veronica is mentioning and introducing the Heathers, like who they are. And then she says, that's Heather Chandler. She's a mythic bitch.
That is very true.
It's also my nickname in some circles.
Let me at them. Who refers to you as in such a way?
Do you know that used to be my mother's ringtone for me? That song.
What?
I'm a bitch. I know, hilarious. Anyway, yeah, and just the fact that she. You know those popular girls at school or those popular people. So I just loved that she was described as a mythic bitch.
Yeah. It's like, I kind of sometimes wonder how many films or musicals can rewrite the same narrative using different way. Like, I mean, Heathers are the mean girls. Do you know what I mean? It's quite interesting. Yeah. Beautiful is the opening number, setting the stage and highlighting the worst parts of the high school and its characters. The song does have to, some might say, have a colourful collection of words to introduce lots of different put-downs and bullying language, including names, just to name a few, such as freak, slut, burnout, bug eyes, poser, lord ass, loser, and short bus. Yeah. I mean, great start to a musical. Now, that last one, short bus, is actually this. I just feel very uncomfortable with all this. It's actually a derogatory term for a special ed student, as they would typically be transported to school on a separate short in length school bus. Yeah. What horrible children.
I know. So in Beautiful, Veronica is talking about how everybody went to school together, like from grade school, which would be like our primary school, and now they're in senior year, and they're just horrible. They're just, everybody is horrible to each other. So then the chorus, they're kind of like chiming in with everything that they would call
all these insults.
Like, and it isn't nice. And, some people do have a horrible time at school and some people have a lovely time at school. So I suppose
I wouldn't say mine was a walk in the park. Would you? What would you say of yourself? No, you were all right, weren't you?
I was okay.
Heather.
No, I was not a Heather.
And
but
someone, I was the someone.
Heather. That is not true, Mr. Head Boy.
Yeah, it took me to get to upper sixth before I had notoriety and fame. What took them so bloody long?
No.
Anyway,
Veronica, but yes, so I think it could stir up some,
Yeah. Veronica also says, "Welcome to my school. This ain't no high school. This is the Thunderdome. Hold your breath and count the days. We're graduating soon."
Yeah.
And that Thunderdome was actually a reference to the 1985 film Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. And it serves as a rough and tumble arena where those who lose the fight suffer.
There we go.
Yeah.
She says they're solid Teflon. So
This is her talking about the Heathers.
This is the Heathers, yeah. And Teflon is PTFE. But Teflon is a brand name used to create non-stick, waterproof, and non-corrosive surfaces. There you go. So they're hard as nails. No matter what you say to the Heathers, they're not going to go cry in the corner because they're probably the ones saying all the nasty things to you.
Yeah, that was me. I just went...
It's because it's non-stick.
Non-stick, yeah.
Non-stick. None of the insults stick.
Yeah.
The pan, isn't it? Teflon.
Yeah.
There you go. Another character that we're introduced to in Beautiful is Martha Dunstock.
Yeah.
Who
Veronica's best friend.
At the beginning is Veronica's best friend, and there's lovely dialogue between them where Martha says, "We on for movie night?" And Veronica replies, "Yeah, you're on the Jiffy Pop detail." Mm-hmm. Jiffy Pop was a popular popcorn that was meant to be popped on the stove top in your house.
Yeah. So in Scary Movie, have you never seen that?
I've just bought, and Scream and stuff.
Scream, and they put it on, but we popcorn like that's a real American thing.
Is it? We just buy ready-made popcorn.
We just buy ready-made
popcorn. We're lazy.
We're
Some
lazy.
might say lazy.
Or do it in a microwave if you believe in them.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, the first interaction Veronica has with these Heathers is in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they're all out of class, and the teacher comes in, basically to tell them off and give them detention. But Veronica's quite good at forging notes and stuff. So to try and get in with the Heathers, because her thing is, if I can just sit with them at lunchtime for one day, then all these other people might actually give me a break.
Yeah.
And might leave me alone and might go, oh, look, she's sitting with the Heathers. She must be kind of
Yeah, because her thing is she's just wanting to get through school. She wants to just get into, an Ivy League school or something like that, and then just leave all these horrible high school people behind.
Yeah. So on her writing that forge, hall pass, isn't it? Heather says, this is an excellent forgery. Who are you? And Veronica says, a Veronica Sawyer. I crave a boon. And Heather says, what boon? And it was the boon that confused me. A baboon or a boon? A boon is a favour or a request particularly granted by a higher power. And it kind of just shows the power, the mythic, naughty word, that godly status that the Heathers have.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of boon before.
No, I'd never heard of it either until Heather's. Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Next. Yeah, well, I think your song comes next.
My song is, and it's actually, interestingly, the first song I heard from the show. Candy Store.
Yeah. Very popular song.
Very popular. I don't like young girls
No, this is also a
performing
thing.
it.
If people are singing songs for grades, for auditions, and they need to be age appropriate.
Yes.
So you need to realize that these are 17, 18-year-old people, and you should not be singing these songs unless you are over the age of 17.
So we'll maybe get onto that later in the episode with the whole age appropriateness of this show, right? But in Candy Store, it's the three Heathers basically telling the audience a bit more about themselves, really, isn't it? What we are and how we work and... Yeah,
so basically Veronica is now, she's not one of the Heathers, but she's sort of with them, and they have now said, okay, we want you to do something, and they have asked her to write a letter to her best friend, Martha, pretending that it is from Rab, this boy that she is in love with. And Veronica doesn't want to do it because she does know how much Martha is in love with him. And she's like him in hand, and they said, well, if you don't want to do it, go away. Yeah. You cannot be part of our trio. And Veronica's like, oh, but I need this fame.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They sing, honey, what you waiting for? Welcome to my candy store. And a candy store could refer to being a sort of safe haven in which you can have everything you ever wanted. Although it could also be a place filled with addiction and decay, which kind of comes their way.
Yeah.
And while the promise of all the treats that come with status is tempting and very attractive to an outsider, all that sugar will rot Veronica's moral compass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I see Candy Store as a temptation.
Yeah.
And they are tempting her a bit like the child catcher does.
But clever with the different number of layers within that song and the underlying meaning and why it was a candy store. That because, you know, on first hearing it, really catchy tune, fantastic, but why candy store?
Yeah.
Why was it that?
Yeah.
And it makes so much more sense when you put it in the grand scheme of the musical and the plot line that they're following.
Yeah.
It is clever.
Yeah.
There are some, you know, lyrics and some songs that are really clever and beautifully written songs. Like they are, it is good.
Just as a whole show.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think Candy Store is brilliant. It's one of those ones that kind of gets stuck in your brain. There's some key moments of it as well. Like, shut up, Heather. You know,
when
and
the
then
other Heather takes over and she's like pushes her out of the way and goes, "Shut up, Heather."
Yeah, and that "shut up, Heather" is a big theme in certainly the first half of the show.
And is that a movie thing as well? Was that like a catchphrase?
I'm not sure.
Don't know if you've seen it.
I'm not sure. I don't think I do. To be honest, I don't think I have seen it.
Right. Okay.
So,
fair.
So next in the song list is "Freeze Your Brain."
Yeah. So. At any point, did you think you'd ever come across a musical theatre song about a slush puppy? Okay. Heathers, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Heathers.
It just goes to show that we're actually a musical about anything.
You literally can. Literally can. If you had to write a musical theatre number about a household object, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. A household object. I'm not sure. What would you?
Mine would be a coffee press.
Oh, interesting. I do a toaster then.
Toaster.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
So freeze your brain before we freeze each other.
So Veronica meets JD. JD's a new boy in town, one of those mysterious ones, and they end up chatting. She can see that he's a little bit quiet and troubled, and she's definitely attracted to this sort of
mysterious I mean, he is dressed in all black and is wearing a big long black trench coat, and I think on the casting criteria for the role needs to look cute.
Yeah.
You know, no Munter has been cast as a JD yet.
No. Yeah, so he definitely she's like, oh, I've got this, like...
He has his positives.
Yeah. Anyway, he ends up singing about the fact, and it's quite a sad song whenever you look at it, because it shows that he talks about how his dad always has 2 suitcases packed, he's ready to go, mum is no longer around. But the one thing that he feels safe and secure around, because he's never going to stick at a school, so there's no point learning names and all of that. But the things that are the same are the 7-Elevens, which are like, for us, like a Spar or something like that. Something that you walk into, you know where the biscuits are, you know where the bread is. They're not going to change.
But that was my musical lyrical lingo. Okay. I didn't know what a 7-Eleven was.
Oh, okay. So you've never had what he's drinking?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I have a big slush.
And you see, this is the thing that we discover quite often in this podcast, because you have obviously done America and you've done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I have done New York, but once or maybe 2 or 3 times when I was much younger. Like, I had no idea that this 7-Eleven was like these big convenience stores across America.
No. I don't want you to think that they're like big convenient. They're like your Spar, but a lot of interesting characters hang outside them.
Oh, really?
So they're not somewhere you're going to go by yourself or late at night.
Oh, really? But there is 50,000 of them worldwide in 18 countries.
Yeah, they're open
24 hours a day.
11. No, 7-Eleven.
7 to 11.
Yeah. They're open late at night as well. But yes, you would get an awful lot of interesting characters hanging around the front of 7-Elevens.
Oh, that's interesting. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting that that's where he feels at home. Because it wouldn't be, it's not, you're not walking into Asda or TK Maxx or something like that. You're walking into a dodgy little.
Oh, you're really selling it, Lauren? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a convenience store, but other people choose to shop there.
Is there that many dodgy people around that they need that many 7-Elevens?
Yeah. It's not just for the dodgy people. You know what I'm saying, right?
Well, you're just selling it really well that I would never want to step foot in a 7-Eleven.
Well, I have, because I do like the slushies. Sorry, EP wants to say something.
Going to help us here.
You're fine until it gets dark. And some of the places we're going, especially those areas like tourists and stuff like that, it's like, don't want to get sued, but I was going to say it's like crackheads going to a light at night. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Sometimes there are people who maybe drinking too much, taking other narcotics or whatever, and just going somewhere where there's people about and there's light and they feel safe, grab something to eat and just get their munchies and stuff.
So it's the 7-Elevens then.
Yes. Okay. So this is interesting that JD feels comfortable there. So he mentions the linoleum floor, which is thank you, PVC
linoleum.
or
The linoleum aisles that I love to get lost in.
Yeah, and I think we also hear that in the musicals escape me. Mother Green Plant, Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, what did you have from Freeze Your Brain apart from 7-Elevens?
Just what it was, and also with that many stores, JD is never going to be far from another sugar hit.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, at these stores, I pray at my altar of slush. So he's after a blooming slush pop out.
Uh-huh.
Hence the song. Interesting though, in the cult film, the store was actually called the Snappy Snack.
Oh.
As they had to change the name due to not being granted permission to set the scene in a 7-Eleven. But the musical, however, honoured the source material as it was a 7-Eleven store in the original screenplay. But then they didn't get permission.
Oh, very good. That's an interesting fact.
Interesting. Thank you. Full of them.
Yeah. There's a song
That's
called...
my last one.
Okay,
I don't have any more.
There's a song called Big Fun, and this is a big house party.
Yes.
And this kind of does terrify me that my children are slowly growing up, and I'm like, house parties. We don't like them, and this house party is disastrous.
I know what you're like. You will not be sending them to a house party.
Oh no, definitely
No,
not. Definitely not. And this one in Heather's is wild. A bit like in Mean Girls, there's the big house party. So yeah, there's definitely similarities.
You've got some cheek talking about house parties.
What?
I was at a house party back in the day at your house, and I forward rolled down your stairs. So,
but we also were in our 20s.
You can't go there with house parties and I forward rolled down your stairs out of a house party.
Yes, but we weren't 17.
Beautifully executed, though.
I know, and do you know what? Not a broken bone.
I know.
Carrying on. I can't believe I shared that.
I know.
I was pushed. She pushed me.
Obviously, this musical is very American. Didn't deny it.
She didn't deny it.
Very, very American. And American in Big Fun, they talk about going to third base. So there's always...
I never understood those
third base is sexual fun below the waist.
But I think also the fact she says, I think that's third base shows how naive she was, because kissing's just second base, right?
Yeah.
See, not quite there yet. Veronica, calm down.
In the song Our Love Is God, and this is my last one, he says, so at this point there has been a lot of death, a lot of murder.
Yeah.
Which has been passed off as suicide. And he says, don't worry, we will use these bullets. They're called Ichschlurg. And my daughter, who's doing German, would probably be going, you've not said that right.
I feel you did quite well there.
Okay, it's German for I lie. And whenever I looked that up, it actually is just a reference from the 1989 film. So he mentions it then in the film about using these bullets. She thinks that they're fake rubber bullets that he's going to shoot the two jocks with. Yeah. But it turns out that they are real.
Doesn't he say that the bullets were used
in World War Two.
And is that factual, or did he make that? That's
He's made it up.
Made that up.
It's a story he's made up. Yeah, because that's what I was looking to see if that part is true. But no, it just all kept coming back to Heather's the film. So, it's just something that he says. So, that means I lie in German.
There you go.
That's Heather's.
That is Heather's. So listen, I know some of our listeners do, when we've talked about the musical, go and listen to the musical. Mm-hmm. So just be mindful of some of the themes or some of the issues that are addressed in the soundtrack. We haven't talked in depth. No. About a lot of them, just because we don't want to do that in our podcast, but we know if you do go and listen to the soundtrack, you will hear an awful lot more, so just be mindful of that. Yeah, and if you do, the Pro Shot is on Amazon Prime. Yeah. It is great. Do watch it, but do watch it and maybe make sure that if you're not quite of that age, don't be watching it without parental permission. So, let's talk about of age. Mm-hmm. Whose idea was it then to have a school version? I don't understand this. It's the same with the school version of Chicago, a school version of Miss Saigon, a school version of just very hard-hitting... And listen, I get it with the school versions. Obviously, these school versions, because I do them in my school, they're a condensed version of the show. You know, most of them are supposed to be like almost done in one act. Yeah? Yeah. And they take out certain scenes and certain things. But, like, if they were to take everything out that wasn't, you know, that was sensitive from Heather's, they wouldn't have much of a show left. I know it is, it's difficult. I'm not sure how. And the reason they did, like, a school version was the outcry of interest from students that wanted to do it. And I'm going... I would love to read a perusal copy of the school version just to see what exactly is included. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what they could take out, but I do think that the popularity has come from using the sounds in TikTok. And obviously, we haven't quite mentioned her, but Hannah Lothar is a massive West End star. She is currently just finishing her contract with Six, but she did star in a production of Heathers, and she was the very first performer to perform all three Heathers. She was understudy, cool, so that is pretty cool. Other people have gone on to do it since, including Carly, I've forgotten her second name, who did play Linda in the recent Blood Brothers tour production. But Hannah Lothar has been the first one, and she has this massive following, and a lot of people do love Heathers because of her. And love the Pro Shot and love seeing where she like pops up because she's just in the chorus. But yeah, what about your standing nose? My standing ovation is strangely the one number that was that was added to the show after it opened in London, or it was opening in London, called "I Say No," and it amazes me that it wasn't in the show already. Yeah, because I actually think it is the most powerful number in the show. It's when actually Veronica goes, no, enough's enough. Yeah. You know, addressed at all, you know, the Heathers and everybody, but mostly JD and how he's coercively manipulated her within their relationship to do these heinous things that they've done together. And she's gone, no, you actually won't use me as a pawn in your game anymore. You cannot treat people like this. You cannot treat me like this. And it blows my mind that powerful number wasn't in it. Yeah. And, you know, credit where credit's due, Carrie Hope Fletcher is brilliant. Yeah, and they actually had to release that as a single because it wasn't on any recordings anywhere, until the original cast recording came out. It's fantastic. That and 17. I think 17's a beautiful song. True. As well. I agree. I love 17. I do love I Will Never Shut Up Again. I will never shut up I just think it's got a great wee beat to it, and I do love Dead Girl Walking. Yeah. Obviously, whenever you listen to it, you're like, oh, okay. And then, is.
You're like, I've only got one more night on this planet because
she
Heather
thinks the Heathers are
Chandler
coming
is
for her,
going
right?
to kill me.
Yeah.
What will I do? I know I'll sneak into my boyfriend's bedroom through the window and I'm just going to make him remove his tidy whities. Like,
Yeah. I think she says, and ride you till I break you.
Well, she
That's
does.
horrific.
She.
Why would anybody go and see a musical where that is one of the lyrics? Call me a prude, but come on.
Yeah, and there are some very catchy, iconic lines. Like sometimes I will find myself just going, Heather.
No, yes. Listen, musically, it's catchy.
Yeah.
Like the tunes are catchy.
Yeah, I just think the themes are very heavy.
And I think could have been handled better, I think, or written better, I don't know. And also the teacher, like, what the flip is that character about?
She's a B, isn't she?
Yeah, like,
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very stereotypical. Like,
Yeah.
every character is stereotypical of the character. You know, like hippies, jocks, mean girl, cool girls. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting.
It is interesting, but yeah,
It's not for
certainly
me.
don't let
Catchy
your
tunes. Every so often I'll sing Candy Store as I'm getting ready in the bathroom. Welcome to my candy store.
yeah, I do think
Time
those
for
songs are
you
catchy.
to prove you're not a loser anymore. So step into my candy store.
It's my candy.
store.
It's my candy.
It's my candy store.
Da-da-da-da-da-dum. Boom. There we go. That was great there.
To be fair, the beginning of Beautiful is actually kind of cool too,
Yeah.
musically.
Yeah, and it does remind me of something else. You know, that like shouting out, but I can never remember what it is. You know,
It's
like
very
loser,
High School
bit
Musical.
it, do it, bit it. It's that. It kind of reminds.
It's like an extreme High School Musical.
Yeah. 19 years ago
that
today, High School Musical came out.
quo.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Anyway, there we go.
Anyway, that's
for our cool, hip, and young listeners.
Yeah.
Next week we're doing
Back to an oldie.
a golden oldie.
So now we've come to our part of What Would Patty Do?
What would Patty do? Our new feature for 2025.
We're loving it.
Yeah, so and it's your turn this week.
It's my
for me,
turn
isn't
this
it?
week, and I'm going to ask you.
The agent has been on the phone. What would Patty do?
Agent has been on the call. What would Patty do? And I'm linking it from our episode last week as well. So would you rather deliver the fiery America from West Side Story or steal the show with the iconic Rose's Turn from Gypsy?
Oh my goodness, that's not even like Rose's Turn from Gypsy.
There we go. Just like Patty.
I want the standing ovation at the end of the number, just like Patty or Imelda Staunton or the many who have done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah,
definitely.
1000%.
And getting like really like.
Also, I'm on the stage on my own at that point.
Yeah,
with
all
just
eyes are on you.
With just my name in like light bulbs behind me.
Yeah.
Timmy, you can see it now.
I was going to say.
All those dreams and why did it get me? I had a dream.
That's what you practice in your bathroom.
See, when I do my one-man show, that is my 11 o'clock number.
I will be front row. Just watching. Yeah, love it.
And then I have the breakdown on stage, which comes at the end of that number.
Love it.
Perfect. I am away to dream of my Rose's Turn.
You do that, and you will do it very well.
Can't wait. Until next week.
Bye.
Tune in as the memories grow.